interesting facts about famous people.
All John Ford and John Wayne Westerns. The actor-director pair collaborated on a total of 14 films, 9 of them being westerns. Wayne attempted to break away from westerns at one point in his career. His western roles were what made him famous. Ford helped to make him a movie star. Unlike most westerns of old Hollywood, the works of Ford usually contained richer themes that not only explored the outer world of the West, but also the inner workings of the cowboys and cavalrymen that made up the western characters. John Ford was the king of the American western film directors. The movies he made with John Wayne were some of the best examples of the western genre. John Ford made some of the best western films in the genre's history. His collaborations with John Wayne added to his cowboy star power in those classics. Respected by his fellow directors for his cinematography and location shooting techniques, Ford's half-a-century career won him 4 Best Director Oscars, among many other accolades. Likewise, Wayne's huge movie and TV filmography earned him a reputation as one of the golden era of Hollywood's biggest stars. Eventually, he won the Best Actor Oscar for his role in the film True Grit towards the end of his career in 1970. If you enjoy this video, take a peek at my channel for more. The link's in the description. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to share with your friends. The more the merrier. Stagecoach, 1939. Ford's first collaboration with Wayne not only made Wayne a star, but it launched an artistic partnership that would last for decades. 1939's Stagecoach followed a group of travelers as they were escorted through the wilderness from Arizona to New Mexico. Wayne's Ringo Kid was almost a parody of the Western movie tropes of the previous decade, but it allowed the young actor to shine with a star-making performance, not without its modern criticism for its depiction of Native Americans. Stagecoach was very much a product of its time, despite being incredibly modern for a 1930s film. The movie was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including a Best Director nod for John Ford. Though he won no awards, John Wayne was the biggest winner in Stagecoach, and Ringo Kid was a role that launched his iconic career. Fort Apache, 1948, kicking off the cavalry trilogy with a bang. 1948's Fort Apache blended the Western with the war film in a final product that was surprisingly progressive for a 1940s Hollywood movie. In the film, Captain Kirby York, Wayne, was passed up for command of the fort in favour of an arrogant and inexperienced Lieutenant Colonel Owen Thursday, Henry Fonda, who couldn't quell tensions with the local Native American tribes. In a brilliant reversal of roles, Fonda was excellent as the infuriatingly strict Lieutenant Colonel Thursday, and the film's sympathetic view towards Indigenous people was embodied through Wayne's portrayal of the somewhat jaded Captain York. Three Godfathers, 1948. Ford wasn't known for predictable westerns, but aspects of Three Godfathers from 1948 didn't ring true. A trio of desperados, Wayne, Pedro Armendariz, and Harry Carey Jr., on the lam after robbing a bank, gain custody of a newborn baby that they swear to protect. Ensuing action sequences, the film relied on the characters to shine. Elements of humour spiced up the story at times, but the cheesy ending smacked of Hollywood gloss that Ford's films typically didn't have. Ultimately, Three Godfathers' reference to the biblical story of the 3 wise men was too conspicuous. She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, 1949. The second film in the Cavalry trilogy saw Wayne in an entirely different role as Cavalry Captain Nathan Brittles. 1949's She Wore a Yellow Ribbon features Captain Brittles on the eve of retirement, as he is given a final mission to stop the outbreak of another bloody plains war. Like the previous film in the trilogy, Fort Apache, the movie's depiction of Native Americans was a notch above the stereotypical portrayals in most classical westerns. The best western movie protagonists were usually all about fighting, but Brittles was unique in that he actively wanted to avoid a war. Not only did Brittles treat his indigenous acquaintances with dignity, but he had learned from the horrors of other wars and didn't wish to repeat them. Visually, the movie was stunning. Rio Grande, 1950, the final of the Cavalry trilogy, and saw Wayne reprise his role as Kirby York, who had been promoted to Lieutenant Colonel in the years since 1948's Fort Apache. The film follows York as his estranged son, Claude Jarman Jr., arrived as a soldier in his regiment, and the return of York's wife, Maureen O'Hara, further complicated matters. Though it was the worst of Ford's Cavalry trilogy, Rio Grande was nevertheless a serviceable western in its own right. What the film lacked was deeper meaning, and its well-treated plot was devoid of the themes and subtlety of other Ford westerns. The Searchers, 1956. A theme of foreboding ran through all of Ford's westerns. The Searchers was maybe his most complex and layered film he made with Wayne, following Ethan Edwards, Wayne, who set off on a quest to find his niece, who was abducted by Native Americans. Noted for its grand scale and beautiful cinematography, The Searchers was as much about the western frontier as it was about the inner demons within Edwards, and his quest for revenge. Though Wayne appeared in numerous westerns, no character was as compelling as his role as Ethan Edwards. While it was named the greatest American western of all time in 2008, The Searchers was certainly Ford's most flawed masterpiece. The Horse Soldiers, 1959. Though a western to its core, it was set in the American South during the Civil War, following Colonel John Marlowe, Wayne, as he led his Union soldiers during a raid in Mississippi. Wayne portrayed his usual swaggering hero who kisses the girl at the end. The movie's exploration of the psychology of war was left to William Holden's character, Major Kendall, considered by some to be a great Civil War movie. The Horse Soldiers did grossly oversimplify the historical events represented in the film. While Holden and Wayne were both stars, the former outshone the latter. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. The best Wayne movies allowed the Duke to dispense with his typical machismo. His role in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance was a nuanced performance. The story was told in flashback as Senator Stoddard, James Stewart, recalled his brush with the outlaw Liberty Valance, Lee Marvin, who terrorized the town of Shinbone years earlier. Ford chose to shoot the movie in black and white as opposed to color, and the monochrome approach shined a spotlight on the acting and stripped away the distractions. The script's use of flashback was an interesting touch for the Western genre, and Stewart's transition to the Old West was effortless. Wayne and Stewart received high praise for their performances. How the West Was Won, 1962. Ford and Wayne's last collaboration, and their grandest in terms of scale. Wayne starred in the Civil War portion that was directed by Ford, playing Union General William Sherman in a small role. His role as the legendary Union General allowed his name to be added to the film's impressive ensemble cast, doing little else. Ford and Wayne's contributions to the film were relatively small, but it still managed to earn a total of 8 Oscar nominations. Hello to any new viewers on my channel. Thanks for your time today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Don't forget to hit the notification button to get my new videos. Share with your friends. Drop me your comments. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.